Good afternoon, card community. It is RJ, and it is time for the Sunday Trivia Recap. Hooray! Loud cheers, mass hysteria, people rioting in the streets, dogs and cats living together, utter chaos. And we still have time for some great prizes and fantastic trivia. So let's get to that, shall we? All right. Monday's question. I asked, who was the first former Negro League player to win a Major League World Series championship? Now, I hinted that it might have been two players or more, and it was in fact two. So let's consider where we are. 1947 was when Jackie Robinson came into the league. In 1947, the Dodgers did make it to the World Series, and they faced the Yankees. The Yankees won. The Yankees had no African American players, so the answer could not be 1947. So let's take a look at 1948. 1948, the Boston Braves, of all teams, made it to the World Series, along with the Cleveland Indians. Now, if you know your baseball history, in 1947, Cleveland became the first American League team to integrate. They brought on former Negro League player Larry Doby, who was still with them in 1948 when they won the World Series. So he would have been a correct answer, as would have been Satchel Paige, because they brought in, the Indians brought in Satchel Paige mid-season to help them, and probably for a way to draw more fans. But both of these players were on the 1948 Cleveland Indians, and both of these players appeared in the World Series and helped the Indians win. So that would have been your answer. Your prize is this great Frank Robinson 1990 Score rookie card. I said because the card was kind of beat up, I'm going to throw in a couple freebies, and those freebies are going to be these two cards of Larry Doby and Satchel Paige. So that's your three cards you're going to walk away with if you are the winner. The following people up on the screen were kind enough to throw out a guess. Got a lot of different guesses, but most people knew Larry Doby. Some threw out Satchel Paige. A couple other answers. Want to shout out a couple newbies to the guess world. I like to shout out everybody who is new. Give them the recognition they deserve. Call out their channel names. Hope you will take some time and view their channels. That's why we're all here, to drive viewers to our YouTube channels. So welcome Hunter Boucher, not sure how that's pronounced, and Barry Stuckey. Barry Stuckey and Hunter Boucher, I do not have channel names for you. If anybody out there knows what channel name is associated with these individuals, or if you guys are watching and want to send back the answer, I'd love to highlight your channel in future postings if you choose to submit more guesses and participate further. And then Center Hill Cards. I don't believe Center Hill Cards ever answered any of my trivia questions, but thanks to the guys at that channel for tuning in. I appreciate that. Everybody else is pretty much a regular we all know and love. Check out their channels as well. As we are wont to do, we will shuffle once and spin. You must hit 3 times on my channel to win. Helps draw out the suspense, and there's not exactly a boatload of entry, so it's not going to take that long. So here we go. Good luck to everybody playing for that great Frank Thomas card. All right. So this coming week, I finally got around to showing off. I'm going to finally get around. If you tune in this coming week, you will see some of the great stuff I picked up at my LCS a couple weeks ago off the $5 table. I didn't have time to film it back then because my baseball studio is in fact the spare bedroom in my house. My wife has not seen fit to give me a man cave just yet, mostly because our daughter occupies the entire finished basement area, the entire thing, as her own little room. She's a college-aged kid now, so she gets the whole downstairs to herself. And, eventually she'll be out and I can claim that area as my own, I suppose. But until then, it's just one little spare bedroom that doubles as a guest room. So anyway, we had guests over the other week and I couldn't film last Saturday So I had to double up 2 Saturdays ago, and I wasn't able to highlight some of the great things that I got from my LCS, but I will remedy that problem on Monday's video. So if you come back on Monday, you will see some of the awesome pickups I made. All right. I am watching the baseball seasons. I hope everybody else is there. Certainly several people on the YouTube channels are not necessarily baseball card collectors. Is that 3 for Shaw? I think it is. I think it is 3 for Shaw. Yeah, it is 3 for Shaw. So congrats to Shaw and the boys up north. You'll be getting that. I'm also going to throw in some Expos cards. I had spoken to those guys not too long ago. Well, I had spoken to them a while ago about sending them a 1974 Expos team card that I picked up. So I'll be sending that along with you guys because I never got around to it. So keep an eye out for that. All right, guys? Congrats to the guys from Shaw up north. Moving on to Wednesday's question. And everybody on the list here was kind enough to throw out a guess. Again, Hunter Boucher stayed. In fact, he was kind enough to throw out a guess for every day this week. So welcome, Hunter. Hope you continue to pipe in. We greatly appreciate it. Also got another individual, a name I don't recognize as a channel. Maybe somebody else out there does. Please, if you know Dana Zerdick as a different person, as a different channel name, please let me know. Dana, if you're listening, please write back and tell me what your channel name is. I would much rather put that up there than your personal name. I want to drive people to view everybody's YouTube channels. That's one of the great things about this card community, all right? So Wednesday's question. On Wednesday, we asked, who was the last Negro League player to regularly appear in Major League games? Okay, now there was a number of answers I got. Let me start with a couple of them. Several people said Satchel Paige. All right. Here is an archives card of Satchel Paige. Great picture of him in the Browns. If you look on the back, you will see his career statistics. And in fact, he was brought back in 1965 for one game with the Kansas City Athletics. He pitched 3 innings and didn't give up a run. He only struck out one guy, didn't walk anybody. That's pretty good for a man who was clearly getting up there in age, at least 50, if not 60 by that time. I don't want to speculate. I don't think anybody knows how old Satchel really was. But Satchel Paige was a guess. It is not the correct answer. Several people said the answer is Minnie Minoso. Now let's talk about Minnie Minoso for a second. Minnie Minoso was quite the character. He came up in the 40s from Negro League ball, played in the 50s and 60s as a regular. Then, because he was such a White Sox favorite, the White Sox brought him back in the 70s for a couple games to play. Not only that, they brought him back in the 80s for a couple of games to play. If you look at his career stats, down here you will see that in 1976, Minnie Minoso played in 3 games for Chicago, and in 1980, he appeared in 2 games for Chicago, the White Sox. Now, that made him one of the few players, one of the very few, to actually appear as a player in 5 different decades. That is a very rare feat. Several people have done it 4 times because if you start your career in like the 9th year of a decade, 59, 69, 79, and then you simply play like 22 seasons, you'll fill up the next 2 decades and come in like 1970 or 80 or 90, and that's considered 4 different decades. But to go 5 is a rare feat indeed. Minnie Minoso was one of the few players who did it because they brought him back as an exhibition. Now, I did not discount this. However, my question was actively play, and the answer is Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron was still an active designated hitter in 1976. He appeared in 85 games for the Brewers. So he is, in fact, the last active Major League player who was a former Negro Leaguer. Now, I do not quibble on here. I am not a person who judges the answers. I'm just happy people answer. So anybody who gives me an answer is entered into the contest. And what you're playing for on this one, really cool Jarren Duran Topps Chrome version of the 87 throwback from last year. Jarren Duran rookie card, outfitted with Red Sox. Chrome version of the 87 throwback. So Shaw is out. You cannot win but once a week on my channel. Everybody else, you are in. Again, shout out to the newbies. We will spin. Let's see what we get. Good luck. Like I said, I'm following the Phillies, and the Phillies are just driving me crazy. I made this point before, but I think it bears repeating. If you're a fan of sports, and if you're specifically a fan of the Phillies, there's something to consider. I made this comment a couple times now, but it keeps rearing its ugly head when I see what's happening with the Phillies right now. The Phillies have had only two great dynasties, okay? They had a great dynasty back in the 70s and 80s. When I say great dynasty, I meant teams where for a span of 10 straight years, the Phillies never had a losing season. They made it to the postseason 5 times. They made it to the World Series twice, and they won 1. That happened 2 times in the Phillies' career. That was from 1975. I'm sorry, from 1974. No, I think it was 75 through 84. It was either 75 through 84 or 74 through 83. Either way, 10 straight. Oh, okay, Hunter Boucher just hit 30, his 3rd time. All right, congrats to Hunter. But Hunter, I don't know who you are or how to contact you. I'll send you an email. But if you're watching, I need you to send me a mailing address so I can send this card out to you, okay? Congrats to you, sir, for being a new person and winning that prize. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Moving on to Friday's question. Friday's question is all about 1987 on Friday, if you remember. So the prize is this fantastic unopened cello pack of 1987 Topps cards. You can see the gum is still in there, but it has the Bo Jackson Future Stars card as the top card in the pack. That is what you were winning. The question was, in 1987, this rookie broke the single-season home run record for rookies. Who was he? He hit 49 that year. The answer is, he was and is Mark McGwire. This is his 87 Donruss The Rookies card. Now, clearly there is nothing on the back that suggests he hit 49 home runs because this is his 86 stats. But he did hit 49 home runs. In fact, he broke the record set by Frank Robinson, who hit 38 back in 1956. This is Frank's 1955 Topps card. So that is the answer to your question, and this is the prize. So again, Shaw, you are out, sir. You cannot win but once on my channel, as with Hunter. We will shuffle once and spin. Good luck to everybody. And like I was saying about the Phillies, the second great era was 2002 through 2011. During that span of 10 years, they never had a losing season. Went to the postseason 5 times, went to the World Series twice, and won once. The interesting thing about the Phillies, and the frustrating thing about the Phillies, outside of those 10-year spans, outside of them, the Phillies have been to the World Series 5 times and only made it to the postseason when they went to the World Series. In other words, the Phillies are either all in or all out. You know, you either get to the World Series or you're squat, or you're just an also-ran team. And I look at last year's World Series appearance as one of those times. Did Wilbur Kookmeyer just hit 3 in a row? He did. Wilbur Kookmeyer, congrats to you, sir. 3 in a row. you get that great unopened pack, unopened cello pack of 87 Topps cards. Congrats to you, sir. But to finish my story, again, it's frustrating because I look at last year's World Series appearance as one of those rare occurrences. It's a one and done. It'll never happen again for who knows how many years. They're not a dynasty. You look at the team and you think, how could they not be? They put all the pieces in place, but I don't think they make it to the postseason again. I don't. You know, maybe they build themselves a dynasty. You know, maybe this is one of those, like, because they made the postseason last year. Uh, they haven't had a losing season in the last couple of years, so maybe this is the start of a 10-year span. Maybe. I'd like to hope so. I really would. Um, but I don't see it with this team. They're up and down. They'll go 5 in a row, then they win, then they'll lose 6 in a row. They'll go 4 in a row, lose 5 in a row. It's crazy. Um, so I'm just worried about my Phils. What can I tell you? I imagine you guys out there, whatever team you support, you're thrilled right now, or you're worried about them too. You never know. You never know. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for tuning in. Got more great trivia questions and prizes to give away this coming week. Please stop by tomorrow. We'll start it out on Monday with a great trivia question and prize. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Please consider like, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. Shout out again to all the new people. Please check out their channels. Please let me know what their channels are, because I don't know. And I would love to give them the shout out with their channel name to drive more people to view them, all right? Appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Come back again this week, and I will see you there, all right? Take care.